Hi everyone, it's Tracy. It is Friday, TGIF. Woohoo! It's just like every other day. I want to take you through a walkthrough of this new little journal I've done. It was just a little school book, arithmetic book that was basically falling apart, and I wanted all the pages from inside, of course, to go in my journals, so it was time for it to say goodbye. So what I've done with this journal is I've used a lot of different things from that I've accumulated from different people over a while. So this beautiful tool is from Janet Vintage. The blue fabric base and the trims you'll see are from Kim Newberg at Images by Kim. And so let's start. So this little, this little clip has, oh my, broke all my nails. It was the wedding, it was rough. Has this antique button on it. I just love it. And this is a vintage button on it as well. So I just think I like the bling, a little bit of bling. So we're tied up with a little velvet piece of trim. And then we have this really sweet little doily here. And then on the front, I've done the tulle, and I've done this piece of fabric here, and then the lace here. And then I've taken a bunch of my vintage buttons and sewn them on. Did a tiny bit of what I think you call slow stitching, but it was very, very slow stitching for me. And then this sweet little tiny applique, this is from Jan at Lita Vintage. So yeah, so that's my, that's my cover, and you can see it definitely needs to be held together. I have a serious condition called fill your journal to pholitis. Yeah, it's rough, but it's fun. Okay, let's start. Now I'm doing the imaging again so I can see myself on my laptop to make sure I'm in frame, but it's sideways, so it's like watching a video the wrong way. Okay. So I've used this really pretty seersucker fabric that I got a while back to bind the signatures to the book. This is beautiful ruby and pearl, a little tiny piece of from a doily, crochet doily there. So here on the front we have this vintage envelope, and I don't really know the year. I don't think it's too old, or it could be really old because that looks like fountain pen, but beautiful stamps. And then this little, what they call these, like German scraps. This is from an actual scrapbook that I got a while ago that I soaked all of the little appliques or little stickers off of it. So that's pretty there. So in the back of the envelope is one of the pictures. It's just a scene, a really pretty scene of some birch trees and some rock. It's obviously Ontario. This is from the photo album that I got from Heather just this week. So in here is also some very vintage, excuse me, papers from Frances that I got, that she gave me a free bunch. And I went the other day and she gave me another big bunch with some antique Christmas wrapping paper and a bunch of telegrams. And the one I opened, oh dear, it was so sad. It was to advise you that Evelyn passed away last night. More to come. That was the only one I opened. I said, I'm not opening anymore. So a lot of the paperwork is from this company that her sister worked for. So we've got some there. And then this is from 1946. A lot of it is government remittance forms, but they're old paper and it's beautiful. This is wallpaper from Jan. Jan, I need more wallpaper. And this is from Kim, this little dangle. So sweet. I love it. And this is the antique ledger from the big ledger I got. This is a very old piece of cellophane, and I thought it just looked pretty there. I'm just gonna leave it there. So an airmail envelope, and I've done just some collage on the front with a piece of a very old napkin, old ledger, book. This is ruby and pearl, and some sewing fabric. That's just a little, that's Flo and Fauna up there. And inside we have this little vintage card from Alberta. It must have been a collection of provinces and their flowers, but there's nothing on the back to tell me. And then this is a card for the Wagon Wheel Restaurant. And here's the directions so we can go. It's in Ohio. Let's go. Don't you ever just really want to go to a diner? So on the other side of the envelope, this is a Well-Loved Journals. And on the inside, oop, I obviously need to add a little dangle there. Sorry, folks, I will do that. We have one of these cards, and I forget what the game was called. I had no idea how you played it. But it was a old vintage game that I think I got that from Heather. And this is also Well-Loved Journals, and it had the ticking on down here image, so I added some ticking on the top for the tag topper and just a little stamp on the back with some lace pocket. And that's ruby and pearl with some, I think this was some of the free trim that I got. Shorthand book. On this coffee dyed paper, I just glued down a book page and then just ripped it off once the glue dried. And I love how it gives that torn edge. Sorry about my voice, it's my fall allergies. Just a little envelope. I think this came from Kim. And just this little slide. I like the blue on it, and it's actually people at a dinner table. I think it's a dinner party. So this is from that little diary I got from 1964. This is very old fabric from Kathy at Greek Chick, and it's like, it falls apart at the touch. So I added some of it right there. This is one of those little snap-ons. I just made it a tab. And I had this, a bunch of these really cute brats. So I added it there. And this is on some coffee dye stencil paper, and you can see where it overlapped and only got stencil on part. This is just a little piece of a digital kit. I thought it looked really pretty because the lace almost looks real. So here on this side, we have, I think this frame is from Blattwork, Guardy at Blattwork. So I've taken just, these are images from, I'm sorry, I don't know, I forget. But I waxed them, and you'll see later on how they give it like an opaque effect. I really like it. Just a tiny little piece of trim sewn on with a button there. Book page. The diary. This is for you to add, like if you want to add stamps, if you want to add negatives that you do have, or anything inside there. I've added that on for you. And a lovely texture paste stencil there. Here I've glued this flip, or this tuck flip tip-in with some fabric. That was at the bottom of a piece of the fabric, and I like that it had the little number 2 there. And then here is just a collage of, like, this is an old letter. This is from the letter of the guy that writes really angry from all the different hotels. And this is just, oh, sorry about that. And this is just from an old, like a roster from some company group thing. This is from Jan. Look at this really sweet little belly. And it's got the tiniest, tiniest. Can you see? Ooh, can you see that piece of trim there? Oh my gosh. Gorgeous. Vintage playing card with some more of that fabric on the spine. And here's just another stamp here on this piece of, I think this was a packaging piece of heavy cardstock, and I just glued that on the back. I love this natural ink spot from this shorthand book, and this book was from Aloha. And here we just have some old music page. Definitely seen some better days, and a piece of trim. And here, this is Well Loved Journals, Natalie again. And then I had these are Antique Paper Jane. She had some of these photos, photo booth photos, and it's just been distressed. It's distressed, and some of my alcohol ink tape across it. Here we have the other side of that airmail envelope, lace trim up there, and this is from Kim Newberg, and this is a butter packaging. It's parchment to wrap butter in. I thought that's really cool, and there's nothing better than the sound of parchment paper, right? I'm just going to leave this here because I'll never get it back in. And on the back, we just have a fishy. Just a little fishy. So here with this is a really long postcard. You see it on the other side. I've just added a couple stamps, a rusty paper clip, and then this laundry tape. So when I take, oh, I got a little buckle on there. When I take this off, I lift it up. You've got journaling space underneath from the ledger, but there's also this photo, which was included in the batch of photos I got. It was already folded like that. I didn't do it. I wish I did because it looks really good. But it's so cool because it looks like somebody must have gotten a new car. And there were other pictures too of the kids sitting in the car and getting their picture taken. So I think it's a really sweet picture. So those just go there. Ooh, come on. There you go. And of course the blue. Ooh. Hello. Of course the blue in the postcard is really pretty as well. So here's the other side of that piece of that document, government document, and then you can see the rust from the, there must have been another paper clip or pin or something, but the rusty staple that was in there. Love that. So here is this is a tab from an old file folder from that business. And I just ripped it off of the folder and made it as a tab pocket here. And inside we have this duck card. I guess different ducks, different ducks across the continent. And it must have been a set of different cards. This is the American coot. You're a hoot, coot. Juvenile and adult. And then this is Natalie at Well Loved Journals again. I love, 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 love this tag. And then I had this little piece of trim, and I added this this sparkly little dangle on there. I don't often use silver, so in this journal I used every single bulb clip that was silver. So you know. Here we have the other side of that envelope from the front cover. Love that. And it has the person's return address on the back from Germany. Here, this is, I got a whole bunch of onion skin paper from Francis as well. So this is one of the pages. And inside we just have tucked, this is just a little cluster. This is from one of those little souvenir booklets. This is Banff Springs Hotel. And then this beautiful, colorful postcard is from Lancaster Pennsylvania. Love the blues and flowers in there. So we'll tuck that back in. Here is another vintage envelope. This is from Mr. Reap. Remember, we love Mr. Reap because he got all these awesome envelopes. And look at the registered stamp and the numbers. Get your lottery numbers ready, folks. That's a good luck number. And so I've just added a fussy cut on the back. Nancy, I hope you're proud of me. Thank you. And then here we just have some watercolor paper that I ran through the embosser. And in this pocket, this is a Tim Holtz. I have so many of these and I never ever use them. So I'm trying to use at least one or two a journal. This is just from a digital. She's so pretty. I love her hat. And this is a playing card from Kim. And I love that. This is an enamel case from the Smithsonian Institution. Thank you, Smithsonian. On this side, we have, this is the ruby and pearl paper, and I ran it through my doily die cut, but because it's really thin, sometimes you have to use really thick paper to get it to punch the little thingies all the way through, or my die is just really dull. But this is just a sweet little, I think this is Natalie again, this little tag. And I used one of these little flower eyelets for it. So this is a book page, but it had this beautiful French book page. It was so beautiful that, and I didn't use it as a signature center because I had enough, but I wanted to include it because it's so pretty. And look at the, are those striations? Is that a word? In the book. And here is a, I think this was like a share certificate from 1877. This is from the map book. Remember the triptych? And then we've got a great ad on the back for spark plugs, you know. So this is an older envelope that I had. So what I did is, this is just a little piece of lace, vintage button, and then this, it is the letter O, but it doesn't have to be an O. It could be, or it could be O, what's inside? And it's just a bunch of little goodies inside this. This is the first day cover. So yeah, and it's heavy enough that it's held down all on its own. And here we have, this is the Eris Polaroids from Natalie at Well Loved Journals. I love this, love the blue. And on the back here of this coffee dyed paper, I just had the top of an old envelope. And I used the flip side and added some stamps that I had. Here is just a tag. This is actually from a kit from Gardy at Blackwork, and I just used a little bit of lace trim on the top. Here I made a lace pocket and added this beautiful portrait of this young girl. I don't think I put anything on the back, so lots of journaling space. This paper, this is rag paper from Nancy at Wishes and Weeds. So thank you, Nancy. And then we have an old German letter. I loved the name of this song. It's Sweet Genevieve. I thought that was just, maybe this journal will be named Genevieve. Maybe. And then this is a beautiful, beautiful, look at those gorgeous. This is from a very old book on flowers. Okay, so I wanted to have some fun here. So I had this little button, and it's an itty bitty kitty, blue itty bitty kitty. Hang on, stay tied up. Sorry, can you see the itty bitty kitty? Yeah. And then this, just a bead that I had laying around. And on the back, this is from Jan. I loved this. It was a really big piece of trim with fringe. You'll see later on. So here is the picture that I waxed, and then I just stamped on the top with a stamp with some archival ink. I think it looks really cool. Where are you? And this is just some really weird paper. So yeah, I just added weird paper. Then we've got the music page, the book page. This is actually from, I fussy cut this from a Reader's Digest. I just love the blue, this powder blue. And this is from Francis from that antique store. These were Canada Post COD. So I think there was like 4 sections all together. So I've added 2 of them here. So this has to date somewhere in the probably 40s. And then this is from Kim Newberg, Images by Kim. I love that blue dress. And on here, we just have this little piece of trim that I had, or dangle, duchu. So it's just hanging there. And then this is a page from Girl's Own annual. And I just thought it was like, the woman is happy, who values honor and a good name above riches, who can enjoy the landscape without owning the land, who can go junk journal thrift hauling 24/7. Triptych, stock certificate. This is just a part of this. I think this was hidden by something. So it's from an old, I forget, was it Chatelaine Flowers or something? It was a 1970s gardening book with no pictures. I just made a little dangle cluster to mimic Kate from, I'm trying, from Pixie Kate. Lace trim there. And here I've added just, this is from an envelope. This is part of a price tag, or yeah, price tag. I got that from Nancy, and this is just some washi here. And this is the back of that second envelope that I added from Mr. Reap. But look at the great stamps on the back. Where are you? Are you dizzy? So yeah, I think that's, it went to Boston, Albany, Boston, Albany. Back and forth, back and forth. Back and forth. I just added a couple little things in here that I had left over so that you would see something on this onion skin on both sides. So the last signature, this is from Pygmalion, so that's Shakespeare, right? This is, I forget where this came from. I think it was from the stuff from Francis. It had something written on the back, so I just added this German receipt from 1958. And then this is a rub-on. I think I have 2 rub-ons left that I've had for 2 years. That's it. Like, I mean, I've only ever had 1 sheet of rub-ons. And that's a rusted straight pin. Is that what you call them? And this is from Jan, this pom-pom trim love on this vintage atlas. Love the muted colors of this atlas. Just, I don't have any pages left from that. So here's a embossed doily. So this is, remember I said from that piece before? This is a part of the bottom of the fringe trim. So I've just cut a piece off and added it there, and I've attached it with a butterfly paper clip. And then these are all vintage ledger pages from Francis, and they're all like unattached. They weren't in a book, they were spare pages. So I've just put reinforcements in them, so if you want to hang something special from them, you can. So they're all ready to go. It's hard to see that there. And here I've just, with the embossed watercolor paper, I just added some of this crazy stuff and a little tiny applique there. And this is a beautiful, I think it's an antique postcard. It's So Vieille Affection from, I think it's Hebert to Madame Mariette at Cafe El Fresco. It's Fleur de Printemps, so it's spring flowers. But I love her blue dress. She fits perfectly in here. And music page. This is from a, I don't know if it's, I'm trying to remember the book that it came from. It was a language to English, but I'm trying to remember what language it was. It wasn't English or French or German or anything like that. So, but yeah. So here I just had this leftover piece of file folder, so I've just added these great stamps here to make a tab. This is from a dictionary, and there's some German tape, another stamp, and this is some, oh, this is from, it was a free printable on Ko-fi, and I accidentally one day printed it on file folder label paper by accident. I thought it was cardstock. So now I get to peel little labels of this beautiful digital whenever I want to add something. So here's some Japanese paper. So here on this is a guest book. So I left a lot of it blank because it's nice and lined. But in the top I put this frame, so I just added her in here so you can take her out. She's just here to show that you can add your own photo there, and it is, as I have acetate behind there. So here I've added, I have these are like jewelry tags. You can see you can hang something from it. They're really interesting how they pop on. So it's just there to let you know to flip this down, and it has, oops, it has just a bunch of a collage of stamps in the back of envelopes. And then we have this awesome old recipe card for shortbread cookies. And the yummiest cookies in the world have 5 ingredients, right? I love shortbread. Just love it. And then on the back, tucked in, is just from a atlas book that I got a little while back. I think it's about London streets. So it's just a piece of the very last page in the book. And so we're going to pop it in back there. Here we have this postcard from Cambridge in England. Look, I love the guys and gals laying on the side of the, is that a canal or a river? And on the back of this is the centerfold. It is beautiful. I think this is from a calendar that I had. Yeah, from a calendar, because there's the little, but I love that picture. I love the blue sky. So I've just sewn all around that. And this is from a book about flowers. Obviously, I think it's weeds, like wildflowers. Sorry. So there's just some lace trim around there, and there is a pocket in there to hide all your secret stash. Just some really pretty paper there. So I've done a tuck, flip, tuck, tip in of this beautiful, almost blue-green, the color of the photo, but it's along the Grand Trunk Pacific Railway. It's Canadian mountain scenery. It's beautiful. And there's another part of the scenery. Don't you love this? I wish I could do this. This is actually from Jan at Lita Vintage. This is what she makes, and it's amazing. Just so many pieces and the time, because every page is embossed, and she even alcohol inked her paper clips or her staples too. So, I have a few of these left, so I added it in the book. So this is a beautiful old vintage serviette, and then I've just added one of those die cut. What was that holding? Oh, yeah, I didn't glue it in, just a paper clip in case you want to use it for something else. And here, I've resined this little flower on this little eyelet on this journaling card from Well Loved Journals. And here is just some Canadian stamps from 1978. And just pop that back in there. And this little card is just a piece of a digital, and then on the back is from, I'm trying to remember if this is from the Ladies Home Journal or from a page that I got. I can't remember where I got that. So here I've just added the other side of that price tag, a tiny piece of the fringe that fell off, a sweet little vintage gold safety pin, and then this cool little dangle. I love that. And then inside is a page from that Reader's Digest from the book called The Intruder. But I love his blue and blue. I just thought it was great. And then I love the muted blue sky of this photograph from the beach. I would love to hear waves rolling in. I could just go down to the pier, but I don't go anywhere. My daughter's wedding was like the first time I've had, oops, that was supposed to be there. I've been in a crowd since, my daughter's first graduation from university. Not her master's, her one before. The next one was COVID. Yeah, I don't do crowds, but I did my speech, and apparently it was a riot. I got chants. They chanted my name. A little overwhelming. I was so flippin' nervous. I think I blacked out. Yeah. So here's just a little piece I just added on. It is so you can tuck on either side, and this sweet little lace on the edge. Here's the other piece from that Reader's Digest. I just put this stamp envelope. This was from like stamp collecting that I did when I was in the 80s. And I just added some different stamps in there. And then just a reminder that your account is past due. Here's another one of those images on wax. And I just put a brad. I just wanted to show you how you can move it. This is on acetate on this little frame, but you can see behind the music notes. So here on this, the other side of that ledger, this is from that big, speaking of ledger, from that big antique ledger book that I got from Francis. So this is just one of the things that the person had cut out of somewhere and glued in their scrapbook. And it's amazing how, this says 1919. It's amazing how something that's glued in a scrapbook, you soak it in water, and this little paper stays perfect. You wouldn't even know it was glued in a scrapbook with fumes that left me on my knees. I just added this. This is from a 1957, like a year, like the best of. So it's just showing musicals, different musicals that were, this is West Side Story from 1957. And the doily, don't you love this atlas? Yeah. And this is the other side of that blue page back there. Just add some washi and then again did the glue on the page. This is from an old, I think it's 1898 German newspaper. Some of that trim there and just stuck a little card in there. This is Flo and Fauna. So I just added it on there, one of those little stamps on the back. So this is Shakespeare Pygmalion. And we're on the last page. And I've done an envelope here, just the front page. And it is a pocket with something not really important stuck inside. Oh, journaling card. Here we go. Another journaling card. So yeah, I love the express and the stamps. So this is from the Netherlands. And there we go, folks. We're done. We made it in 36 minutes. It's almost a record. Thank you so much for walking through this with me. I hope you like it. So I think I'm going to go with Sweet Genevieve. Do you like that? Because lately, ever since like Periwinkle and who was the other one? Pistachio and Periwinkle and oh, Char. You just make so many names. Everything's named and now I have to keep going. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. There's my doorbell. It's time to go. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.